Hello, welcome back to Trickway. I'm Trev, Steve Gray, fresh from a voice test. Hope you're sounding better than you were before, Gray. There's nothing
Hope
wrong
so.
with your audio. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the proper level. That's all. But we're good.
We are good.
We can see
right.
the Cerritos this time. See?
We can. You know, never. I was saying to Gray, I would like it to see. I would like to see the Cerritos in live action. There was rumors of a live action TV movie. You know, they're going to do a Star Trek TV movie every 2 years. I would like the next one to not be a Picard one, but actually be a Cerritos live action, just a one-off. That would be cool. We probably won't see it, but yeah. Anyway, so we are back for the review of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, Episode 7, titled Fully Dilated. I'm thinking that's maybe something to do, Gray, with Tendi's eyes later on because she gets no sleep. I was trying to struggle. I was like, what's with the title? I don't know.
I wasn't sure either. I mean, they kind of leave you going like, I wonder why they picked that.
So was either she was really tired or she was pregnant, so it's fully dilated. So I was a bit confused.
Yeah,
what was going on really? No. Anyway, so first and foremost, please come along to our Discord if you haven't already, because we do talk about gaming a lot in there because that's our other podcast, Extreme Gaming Podcast. But we also do talk Star Trek and science fiction there. We have a channel for it. And it's discord.gg/Extreme Gaming Podcast. All are welcome in there. We've only got another 3 episodes left of Lower Decks after this, correct?
Yep.
I'm a bit sad it's going to come to an end because I like the show. It's funny. And Paramount don't know a good thing when they see it, especially after we watched Unification and we saw how good Star Trek could really be, and Lower Decks is similar. It's a funny take on Star Trek for adults. And why do they keep getting rid of the good stuff and leaving the shit in place? I mean, why?
I don't know. I guess they felt 5 years is good enough, so now they can move on to the Starfleet sitcom.
It should be 7 years, man. That's just so don't get stuck. We've got rants and raves about all these things that they're cancelling and stopping early. Right. Anyway, this episode is kind of copying. It is very copycat. This episode, Gray. They were copying from many different Star Trek episodes. One of them is Carbon Creek from Enterprise, which you've probably not seen. Don't like Enterprise, but you miss out on these things. And that's where Paul's grandmother was one of the first Vulcans on Earth, even before First Contact. It was set in the 1950s, and in a place called Carbon Creek in the States somewhere. And they lived out their life for a little while until something happened and they couldn't get out. So that was one episode, and they actually mentioned Carbon Creek in there at one point. T'Lyn is part of their entourage as well, and they all kind of. So it's the usual humor style of this episode. The Cerritos had to actually close one of these time fisher things that keep popping up, and there's that you see the Enterprise D, which was nice. But it's a purple Enterprise, yeah. The Purple D, which sounds like an album name or something, man. Yeah. The Purple D they're going about having to close all these fissures. Something did crash from one of the Purple Enterprises on a kind of pre-warp civilization, so they have to go down and clean it up as you do. But there's a time dilation thing in effect, which the comment was similar to that Voyager episode and that planet that went round really, really quickly, and before you know it, it was the God ship up in space, Voyager, and an astronaut at one point came up and visited them on their starship. So there's a mention of that, Carbon Creek. There was a mention of Picard when he was stuck in that time loop planet. Right. So there's 3 mentions. I like I like this element, Greg, with the copy. Well, not copy, borrow themes like that. Do you think it was a bit too much?
No, I think it was. I mean, obviously, this episode they did a lot of name dropping like that, more than usual. But it was okay. It kind of made for the episode here and there. It also apparently is common knowledge, or they studied this in Starfleet, so they know about this stuff. which is kind of cool. But
Oh,
then
yeah.
we get the big reveal, though. See, I'll let you tell him.
The big reveal of what? Oh, Data.
Yeah.
Brent Spiner's back. But we're kind of jumping the gun slightly because Mariner, Tillin, and Tendi are all going to go beam down, and they get their. They look a bit like Andorians, but green Andorians. They've got the antennas. And then Tiana's back, and she's cursing and swearing again. Grace, surely you're happy with that?
Great. Yep, very happy.
What's it she said again? Something about whatever this shit is or something. She's
whatever.
About,
when they started doing the horns, he says whatever the F this is.
Yeah. She's always cursing.
I swear, I don't know if we'll ever have the time, or maybe someone will do it. Excuse me. I want to go back and edit like every single episode. Excuse me, and take out every Tiana part of all the episodes and put them all together. I think that would be great. That would be such a good outtake reel.
All it would be is beep 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 beep.
Well, even better if I can get somebody to imitate her voice and then just redub back in without the beep 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 beep.
Oh, that's what AI's for, my friends.
Yeah, that's true.
That and copyright.
Maybe they'll release a Blu-ray one day and they'll just say the R-rated lower deck.
If only. I adds to the character and the charm. But yeah, you're right. I would like to hear the uncensored version for sure. So there's a little kind of course, B, C plot going on. There always is. The B plot is there's going to be a promotion for a senior science officer, and Tendi and Tillin have both. Is it Tillin or Tillin? Tillin. They both put their name in the hat. Who's going to actually get it? And they're trying to out-science each other. So that's why they both go down to the planet along with Mariner to try and clean up this bit of technology that's been left behind. They beam down, and they're only for Boimler, and I'm completely forgetting his name. Rutherford, or Otherford. Should we say? Yeah, they for them it's only going to be a second, but for them on the planet it will be like a couple of weeks or something, or several days, whatever it was. It's time dilation thing. So, there you go, dilation. That's where we got it from.
See, we should.
Right in front of us, So it's only be a second, but when they're doing this, the two of them are first of all drinking these fancy cocktail things, right? Looking ridiculous. And you see more facial hair on Boimler. He's not grown it well. He's like me, doesn't grow well. And then he compliments Rutherford on he's got like a 5 o'clock shadow, big time going here. It's all kind of even stuff, proper man's beard. I'm jealous. Boimler's complimenting him on this great beard. What are they doing? Like, Gray, are they trying to like outdo each other? They're borrowing from this other universe pad heavily, aren't they? Like they're trying to be like their other versions, aren't they? Both of them.
Well, this has been a running gag since episode 1, so I'm thinking, I guess by the time they get to the last episode, they're going to tie that one up, and it's going to result in something. I'm not sure what. But I mean, it's got to, because they can't just sit there and keep on doing this every single episode and always referencing the pad. And everybody knows about the pad now, and they keep on changing their appearance to look like the people from the pad. So they got to wrap this whole other universe thing up somewhere along the lines.
They do, and maybe there'll be some kind of crossing of the universes again, and maybe they get switched with their counterparts or something. Will happen. Let's say they can't leave that. There's always a reason they put these things into place, isn't there? So, but yeah, one's got a great beard, the other one is not so great. So they're drinking their fancy cocktails. They literally beam the guys down to the planet, but immediately spill their drink on the bloody transporter control LCARS panel, short circuiting it, and then they're all freaking out. Oh no! And all you see them next is trying to wipe this off, but it won't wipe off. Bloody Boimler's got his shirt off, trying to like move this stuff out the way. It's not working. They both start licking it to try and lick off all the stuff, but it's not to keep short circuiting themselves.
Then they talk about the transporter chief that it smells because he uses it so much and never cleans it.
Oh yeah,
like
it tastes of such and such, doesn't it? Yeah.
Like, bleh.
Oh, brutal, man. But, of course, on this planet, the time is flying past. I think they end up being there for like a year in total, don't they?
Yeah.
And they have to try and fit into civilization until they get beamed up. And they go looking for the crashed technology, and they find Data's head in there.
Yeah.
Right, Spiner, we were hoping that would be the case. It looked like him. We were hoping he did come back to voice him. He did. It's Purple Data, though. Another
Purple,
album name. It's not green this time, Data. It's purple. And because they're trying to live out their civilizations, they're all in the house trying to get on with one another. The two science gals are trying to outscience each other, and it's more Tendi that's trying to outscience Devin big time. And she spots Data's head, so she's the one that actually powers him up using a hand crank. I thought, come on, it's a nitpick. I think you need a little bit more juice than a hand crank to power Data somehow.
Yeah, I guess. Well, there's the cartoon logic again. They just kind of move over that part, and I mean, it has precedent because remember when Spock did that in TOS when they went back on the City Edge of Forever. They go back to the 40s, and he kept on buying, all these different pieces. And there was one funny part where he wanted to buy these things, and he goes, "Yeah, I need some of those tubes over there," and et cetera, et cetera. And they go, "For what?" "It's for my hobby."
That's true. That's true. He was building stuff. That's right. I remember now. That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Good, cracking episode. But yeah, the two girls are trying to outscience each other big time. While Mariner, this was a weird one. It's just a weird, like, she was like the third wheel. It was kind of not required. Yeah. She didn't want to get involved in this stuff. She was like, listen, if it's good enough for Picard to have a lifetime here, I will try and do the same. I'll maybe go out and get myself a husband or a wife or something, or a best pal, and live out a life. But she keeps failing. She keeps doing something wrong. Like, she sticks one of her horns in someone's eye while chatting them up. She puts out an eternal flame, thinking she's saving the town from fire, and she keeps getting locked up for a couple of months at a time with all her jail pals. So she ends up getting friends at the end, her jail pals, her cellmates. But it wasn't it great to have Brent Spiner back?
Oh yeah, I wasn't expecting it, so that was pleasant. To see that.
It's a good thing that it was just voice work, because Brent Spiner's not cheap to hire.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like
all of them got paid more than any other voice actor, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, he didn't have a shitload to say either, right? So that's cheaper than him being back on set properly. So it was nice to see him, nice to hear him. He's trying to be the mentor the whole time, trying to help Tendi out. But essentially, they have a guy lurking around called Snell. Yeah, he's just a weird guy. He's a bit like one of the Ferengi from that TNG episode where they first encounter the Ferengi. He's a bit dodgy,
or almost like a character from The Simpsons. I mean, the way he's acting.
You could say, well, animated. Yeah, it makes total sense. But he wasn't yellow; he was green. But yeah. Anyway, he's lurking around, and he does actually see Tendi with Data's head. He's like, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call you out. They managed to wangle out of that one just in time for Boimler to actually play the pad long enough for them to beam back out again. And they do beam back out. And it's like, who's going to get this promotion? Who's going to get this? And Data, Purple Data, before he goes back to Purple Enterprise and Purple Universe, does make a recommendation to Captain Freeman, and it's what I thought it would be. They're both going to get the promotion. Now, I've never heard of that in Starfleet. You can't share the same position. You can both be senior science officers. There's nothing to say you can't have more than one, but they've got the same promotion. Did you think that as well, Gray?
I didn't think that they were going to go with the two. At first I thought, well, when Tendi came out, she said something about, oh, guess who got promoted or whatever. I thought she was going to say, the other one won. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking was going to happen. And it just, she won, and that's fine, and no biggie. But when they said both, I'm just kind of like, I thought the same thing. Like you done well. Like, wait a minute. I guess the story would be is that both can get promoted, which makes sense. You can promote more than one person. However, who serves on the bridge? So
Yeah,
if
only
someone's
one
going
at
to
a time.
serve on the bridge, it's got to be one or the other, unless they're going to take turns.
And that's why I think they share the role, because they'll both be on the bridge.
Maybe, but even if they're both on the bridge, that seems a little odd.
It's not happened before. It's not happened before with Star Trek. I don't believe this, so it's a weird one. But it is what it is. They're both good at their job. Tevin didn't even realise there was a competition on, because she doesn't need to sleep much. She's a Vulcan. I forgot that's a thing.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I wish I didn't have to sleep. That'd be great. There's too many things to do, too many games to play. So yeah, no, it was a really good episode. I will give it an 8 out of 10, Gray. I think that's very solid, respectful score. It's nice to see. I love the timey-wimey stuff. That episode of Voyager where they're stuck in that planet and the time dilation effect, is brilliant. Deep Space Nine's got an episode as well. In fact, it was the planet that you couldn't see. It was like once every 100 years it would come round, if you remember, in the Beta Quadrant. That was fantastic. So what did you give it out of 10, Gray, and what's your general thoughts on it?
I was pretty much the same thing. I figured 8. It was really good. Maybe not enough to warrant a 9 or whatever, but it was good. Yeah. And that's better than the typical 7s that we seem to hand out for most of the episodes.
3 weeks in a row, we'll give it a really good score. We'll give it a 9, a 9, and an 8. That says it all. We haven't. I think I gave one episode maybe a 6 and then a 7, but it's not been any lower than that. It's been stellar this season so far for the most part.
Maybe they're trying to go out with a bang. I don't know.
Yeah, well, not every show knows it's about to get cancelled. And they did know they were going to get cancelled, so they've got time to make it better, which is great. No, I'm really chuffed. I enjoyed that. We got 3 episodes left. I'm a bit sad. If you haven't already, we've done a special, which we haven't done one of for a while. That was called the Unification episode that Atoy done between the guys that stepped in for Shatner and Nimoy to basically cross some, basically just some closure for these guys.
Yeah, a lot of closure.
I'll be honest, I showed it to my mother before as well, and she does not really like Star Trek since the original series, and she went, that was emotional. She went, that was really, really good. I remember watching that as a kid. So, yeah, go and watch that, guys, if you haven't, on Atoy, and then watch a review. That's very, very good. I'll try and link it at the end on the cards, okay? Right, great. We'll wrap up there, my man. Thank you. We'll be back next week for episode 8. But until then, say goodbye to the people, Greg.
Live long and prosper, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.